Welcome back to our panel discussion, States in India 2047. As the first, we move on to invite our panelists. I invite Mr. Uday Deshmukh, Nodal Project Manager. He is representing Mr. Eknath Davle, Principal Secretary, Rural Development Department, Maharashtra. Mr. Pravin K. Solanki, Secretary and Commissioner, Commissionerate of Cottage and Rural Industries from Gujarat. We are joined by Miss Indu Kanwal Chib, Mission Director, Jammu Kashmir Rural Livelihoods Mission, and Mr. Bhakta Mohanty, Engineer in Chief, Water Resources, Odisha. When we talk about the role that the states are going to make in India 2047, the citizen-first approach has become the guiding principle of public governance that is led by the deepening the reach of public service delivery mechanisms such that the global standards are met by 2047. The goal then can be achieved by an all-inclusive governance and services delivery involving stronger and more effective and robust mechanisms created at the state level. India needs job generative growth, which is spatially dispersed and equitable. States are going to play an extremely important role towards achievement of that goal and objective. I first invite Mr. Uday Deshmukh. In fact, the panel discussion, we will divide it over 4 questions. I request each panelist to take about 2 minutes. For each question, we will go over to each and every participant. The one by one, then at the end, we will have a Q&A and then we will conclude. So my first question is how to improve productivity, jobs, and flow of funds. I move over to Mr. Uday Deshmukh.
Sir, myself Uday Deshmukh. I'm e-governance nodal officer for Department of Agriculture, and I'm participant on behalf of our Principal Secretary, Mr. Eknath Davle. So regarding this target goals we have just specified, inclusive growth is the only option. We have to reach out to the last person at the grassroots level, who is the most beneficial, and he has limitations to reach us. So the digital innovations in delivering the services and the government schemes, that's very important. And we have nominated our projects MahaDBT, which delivers to the last corner of the state beneficiaries, and we have distributed more than 3,500 crores through these our projects in last 3 years. Thank you.
I appreciate you sharing the details about the project, but most fortunately, we are aware of your achievements. Therefore, for the benefit of the House as well as the other fellow panelists, we have structured the discussion in such a way so that we have certain takeaways from this, which can be then used as recommendations. So my question remains that how to improve productivity within your own domain where you're coming from, productivity, jobs, and flow of funds, so that you get the desired benefits.
So for productivity, we can also introduce this digital technology for, say, this satellite imagery. AI and MLs are offering a lot of things, and there is a core committee at national level. Recently, a Chintan Shibir was also held by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare recently in last week. So there are a lot of things we have to introduce for technology, for production, to delivering the services, and for the inclusive growth.
Great. I'll come back to you with the next one. In the meanwhile, let me introduce Mr. Pravin Solanki, who is Secretary and Commissioner, Commissionerate of Cottage and Rural Industries, Gujarat. He has actually been able to digitize all the schemes of its boards and cooperation. Under his leadership, a world record event for the promotion of Khadi, in which 7,500 women spinners spun charkha. He was instrumental in the revival of skill development and micro-entrepreneur ecosystem in the craft and village industries domain. So very important question, I'm sure, which is coming to you again, the same. How to improve productivity, jobs, and flow of funds.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll talk about that question in respect of the craft and village industry sector itself. Since we are entering a Amrut Kal, as our Honorable Prime Minister has said, so job seekers or the workforce side is going to increase. It is not going to decrease over large next decade and decade after that. So we need to provide them meaningful and remunerative work, job, or be an entrepreneur. So this village and rural industries, handloom, handicraft are going to play a very important role. Many a time, many people say that these sectors are dying sectors, which is like a sunset industry, but in fact, it is a sunrise industry. If we provide them, like why this sector is currently suffering, if we analyze that, and if we try to provide the answer to their problems, then I think we are going to create a lot of jobs, a lot of GDP, and this growth in this sector is going to be like equitable, be it from a gender equity perspective or a caste equity perspective or a marginalized section of the society. If you look at that, this growth in this sector is going to be very equitable. So what are the current issues this sector is facing? I mean, skill sets. Since it's a traditional industry, so they are learning this skill from hereditary, from their tradition, their forefathers, fathers, that kind of thing. So we need to improve their skill. Secondly, like if we want to make them compete with the global thing, then we need to provide them with a knowledge of global standards. Take an example of a lot of textile products in craft. So we need to, if you want to export these products to the European market or US market or any other global market, we need to abide by that standard, and we need to make them aware about that. It's our job to make them aware about this thing. So design is going to be a major thing that we are doing under Haskala Setu. Then the credit support. I mean, they are currently linked with the informal sector, so we need to link them with the formal banking sector. We need to provide them marketing support. If we want to make this artisan into an entrepreneur or a very good value creator, we need to provide them very good marketing support. So be it an exhibition, national, international level, we need to make them participate in it and compete with the global other countries also. Like when we look at from a global perspective, look at the handicraft or handloom or village industry sector, we are competing with all other countries. So you should look craft as a business model. So we should think about how can we turn this artisan into entrepreneur, and how can we provide a proper growth environment for this sector to grow. Thank you.
Excellent. I'll come back to you, and I move over to invite Miss Indu Chib, who is Mission Director, Jammu Kashmir Rural Livelihood. She was earlier Resident Commissioner, New Delhi, and then in the State Civil Secretariat. Also worked on rural tourism by establishing the first tourist village with 13 homestays in Pancheri in Udhampur district. So Induji, over to you with the question remaining, how to improve productivity, create more jobs and efficient flow of funds. Over to you.
Sir, the question is very targeted, so I will give a very targeted answer, because the productivity and our growth depends on how well we capture the data. If we are correct with our data, if we have captured the correct data, number one, and if we have our SWOT analysis in place, we know what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, our opportunities and our threat. अगर हमें ये पता है, तो फिर हमारा evolution तय है, फिर productivity बढ़ सकती है. So what we generally do is, we keep on kind of adding on to 20% every year, and we keep on calculating it. That is not the manner in which we can do, by which we can increase the productivity. Productivity अगर हमें बढ़ानी है और अगर jobs हमने देनी है, so it has to be data is the king. Number second, it's very important कि हमें sensitivities पता हो local. आपने employment की बात की, so why should I do a square in a circle? I have to do a square in a square. So we need to first understand कि आपका ground work में sensitivities कैसी हैं. I hope I am audible, sir.
Now you are. We missed a couple of sentences where you're talking about the sensitivities of the people. So if you could repeat
Yes.
that.
So likewise in Jammu, so we have to know, we should be knowing the sensitivities of that area. This is the second part. The third to increase employment and productivity is that, for example, the studies done in J&K in case of the employment is about the PricewaterhouseCoopers and the UNDP. They've done very good studies on how to understand the requirements. For example, if there is an industry in Jammu or Kashmir which is asking for more people, and we should first of all understand what is the demand, and then we have to work on the supply. So, sir, employment and productivity will not take so much of time to capture if we know what is the demand. And to understand the demand, we theory and these we need to go into the field and understand the demands. And last but definitely not the least is we need to evolve. Like, for example, in this particular aspect, I have filled in for the market strategies. We have improved the market strategies of NRLM and J&K in a huge manner. So I cannot be satisfied with, yes, ab market maine capture kar liya, ab main both has to be there. The evolution has to be there. We have to be very, very closely working with what is to sell. क्या बिक रहा है मार्केट में, उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग हमें बिजनेस एक्यूमेन अपने महिलाओं को भी सबको कैप्चर करके देना है, ताकि वो ये समझ सकें कि आपकी एक चीज जो है वो पिछले साल बिक रही थी, इस साल नहीं बिक रही, सो उसको इवॉल्व करिए. सो दिस इज द थर्ड एस्पेक्ट. एंड फोर्थ एंड लास्ट इज वन शू डजंट फिट्स ऑल. एक पॉलिसी अगर मैंने एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोडक्टिविटी की एनआरएलएम में डाली है, वही चीज हो सकता है the unemployment ratio will definitely be decreasing every year. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Bhakta Mohanty, who is Engineer-in-Chief, Water Resources, Odisha, began his professional career as a professor in civil engineering in the Industries Department. He later joined Water Resources Department in '89 and has stayed there ever since. He contributed to the construction of Hirakund Dam as its superintending engineer. Mr. Mohanty.
Yeah, good afternoon. Myself, Bhakta Mohanty. I am representing our Development Commissioner from SCS Water Resources. Thank you so very much for adding me in the panel discussion. And the very question about this productivity, job, and the
flow of funds.
Flow of funds. So, as you all know, our state of Odisha has contributed significantly for the development of the state in this water resource sector, particularly. And what we are doing, we as a state, we are propagating, we are creating water for prosperity. The very water for prosperity includes all these things, the integrated approach of markets, of technology, of revising the water policy, water plan. We are the state first. We had the after national water policy came in 1987. We have our water policy in revised 94. First water policy Odisha brought after national water policy of 1987. So what we are now, we are in place. We are also working state water plan. We are having 2007. Now we are again working on it to revise it. And what we are doing, we are breaking the silos. Number one. Number two, technology for water management and community participation. Through all these things, we are improving the very productivity in this water sector development projects, by which it automatically attracts people or the farmers to adopt new technologies, bringing, includes crop diversification and generation of jobs, rural jobs mostly. So that, and with regard to the flow of funds, I must make it clear, budget in water resource sector is quite high, and around 12,000 crores this year. So flow of funds to this sector is really significant. So this, I think, this is our stand with regard to the very pertinent question that you put forth. Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, it takes me back to Induji, to you, with my next question as to how should the programs be better structured to have impact and creation of better opportunities. I mean, we spend the money, but at the end of the day, we don't really get the desired outcome. So how do we better structure for maximum impact and better opportunities?
Sir, again, I would like to insist on how well we know the ground level indicators. If we are very, very good with the indicators and we know what is the thing which is pinching the entire system, then we would be able to work it very finely. And if I give an example on my own experience, this last 1 year experience in NRLM, the thing which immediately came onto my face was the gaps in two things. Number one was that we were not manufacturing things. We were just kind of trading. So trading doesn't give you much percentage of profit. But if my woman is manufacturing something, then she is the owner of her own business and she can start an own enterprise. So then what we did was we worked on the enterprise development. And when I say enterprise, sir, I'm very proudly saying that right now we have onboarded 78 products on Meesho, which is an e-commerce platform. And we have also kind of created our own customer-based website with an SMS alert to buyer and seller. So this is one indicator which came on to me and I worked on it. If we can create a very, very good scheme, and if we read the present schemes, जो इस समय सर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की स्कीम्स हैं, स्कीम्स बहुत खूबसूरत बनी है, उसमें कोई दोष नहीं, मगर हम स्कीम्स को 80% स्ट्रिक्टनेस से देखते हैं और 20% फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी से देखते हैं. सो व्हाट आई जनरली फील कि सरकारी तंत्र में हम लोग स्कीम्स को एकदम रूल बुक की तरह फॉलो करने की कोशिश करते हैं, which the scheme doesn't want us to. They want us to customize and they want us to see what sells in your own entire area. So I would like that to create a very good scheme, we need to first know our indicators, whatever indicators we have. And second is we need to work on it very diligently. अगर एक focused line में अगर हम 4-6 चीजें इकट्ठे खोल लेंगे, जैसे we started sir with Avsar, we started in the international airport and Srinagar and Jammu. We have our own now sale points. अगर उसके साथ साथ मैं 10 जगह और खोल लूं तो focused energies नहीं रहती है. So to structure the scheme, it's very important that we know what we are doing. And we have to do it very diligently without any gaps of time. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Solanki ji, over to you. Mr.
What
Solanki.
What we need to do is like look any economic activity, like whenever government wants to support any economic activity, so what it do is it look from the government scheme perspective. So schemes and policies are framed. But we need to link, if we want to support any business activity, say this village and rural industry sector, let's take that sector as an example. We need to look that from that perspective. Like they don't need any scheme, they need solution to their problem. They need growth environment to grow. Like any micro enterprise entrepreneur would want that his or her enterprise should grow into medium size, small size, and then medium size, and then large size. This is a like natural growth path. So how can we enable entrepreneurs in MSME sector as a whole so that their natural growth pattern follows? And how can they do if we tap into global market? There is enough opportunities available in the global market. How can we tap that? We need to improve our standard, our systems. So for that, whatever support is required. So we should look any sector, if we want that sector to grow from that perspective. So like what I said, nowadays sustainability in the wake of climate change, So this handloom, handicraft and village industries products are like sustainable products. They are organic products. So we need to highlight that unique selling point. I mean, who is a better brand ambassador for this product than our Honorable Prime Minister? Whenever he meets any international dignitary, he always make it a point to gift these products to those dignitaries, be it a khadi product or handloom product or handicraft product from all over India. So we need to highlight that thing. And then this kind of products, I mean, we should follow the cluster approach. Wherever the artisan cluster is there, we should not follow district approach or a tehsil block approach. That is where since this is many people feel this is a traditional industry, we should not use any technology. No, technology can be useful in reducing their cost. I mean, if we provide them better design, we provide them better training, we provide them better marketing support with the help of technology. We should use all kind of technology. That's where this informal sector will be formalized. There are some benefits of informal sector, but there are very bottlenecks also because this sector is in informal sector. So credit they are not finding. If they are linked with the proper bank account and they are having all their business transaction through banking sector, there is a more chance that credit score will improve. They will get easily get the credit, and they should not rely on the informal sector. Let me give you one or two examples from, like we have a Matani Pachedi. It's an extinct craft, though performed by a Devi Pujak Samaj of Gujarat in Ahmedabad city. Because they were in Ahmedabad living in chawls, so they were doing, this is like a painting on the textile. So they were doing this thing on their home. So no proper lighting arrangement was there. They were not knowing what kind of designs are people like. So most of their clientele were hotel and club and high-end that kind of the persons. So we provided them a common facility center, small one, with the proper lighting arrangement. We gave them some design support, and then we help them develop their own website. And we train them into through WhatsApp business, how to take order, how to give them supply to their customers. Now they are running on their own. They don't need any government support now. Second thing, like Srujini, that is also same thing. So only one family was there doing this craft. We don't want that craft to be extinct. So we convince them to help other weavers so that this craft can survive. Through this kind of small and I mean customized approach only, because every craft has a different problem. Now there are some crafts like Bandhani of Jamnagar, very famous one. We are exporting a lot. Patoda of Patan, we are exporting a lot, and who of India is also using that. So they have they design requirement, everything they want specific one. So we need to involve high-end designer also. So craft is not like we should add more and more value. If we add more and more value, so the designer will also get some part of the that value addition. But ultimately, the artisan will benefit, sector will benefit, more job will be created, there will be more GDP added, and this craft, that's what we are conserving our tradition and heritage. That's where we also, that's a major objective of the government. That's also where we can succeed. Thank you.
Solanki ji, one thing I would like to find out from you, how are you solving the credit problem? Because in order to promote entrepreneurship and enterprise development, how are you doing the credit linkage?
We are doing it like we train them into financial behavior. First, whenever our first level awareness camp be held, or then the enrollment camp be held, we train them like what bank requires. So we do some like that camp. We do call bank people and some financial expert also. They train them like you need to open a bank account. You need to put this deposit. This should be like your whatever earlier credit if you have taken, you have to pay that back to the banks. That is where we say them, if you would take 100 rupees now and don't pay back to the bank will never going to give you 1,000 rupees. If you want 1,000 rupees, you have to take 100 rupees and pay that 100 rupees back with the interest to the bank. That's how we basically that artisan or beneficiary we make them aware, and then whenever they fill that form for getting bank loans, we help them with the coordination how they should approach the bank, what bank requirements are. Whenever personally, whenever we take loan, we take like these are the document bank want. These are the requirement of bank. Unless that requirement or document is the requirement is filled, bank is not going to give loan. So they have to understand that. That's how. And then the mentor support. I mean, if the one artisan has taken a loan from some group, so he will guide the other 9 people that this is how you should do with the bank. That's how we tackle mostly the credit support problem. Be it a government of India scheme or government of Gujarat scheme with the subsidy, but banks are going to take their decision on basis of the KYC requirement or other their local their in-house thing, and we just make them enable to follow that requirement, and that's where our role is. We should not force bank like in many district that thing happen like no, you have to give that credit. One time they will give, but not every time. And if artisan have to follow that proper credit behavior, proper financial behavior, and we should make them understand that thing.
Understood.
Sir, if I get a chance, can I add a word?
Indu, I was coming to you. Yeah.
Sir, credit में Jammu Kashmir Rural Livelihood Mission has an NPA of 1.2 and the lowest in the country. The country NPA is 1.87. So how we achieved it? In the current UPLC, we were the top scheme in the 25 departments. How we achieve it? सर एक बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑडिट कैलेंडर हम फॉलो करते हैं और क्रेडिट वर्दीनेस और क्रेडिट लिंकेज का एक बहुत बड़ा रीजन आता है दैट द बैंक शुड बी थिंकिंग दैट यस रूरल लाइवलीहुड वुमेन इज बैंक वर्दी, शी इज bankable. So to create that aspect in the minds of the bankers, because bank भी सिर्फ अपने जेब से पैसा नहीं देगा, he has to be given back the money. So to create the credit worthiness, what we do is we are very, very strict with the return of the loan. Now, we were the only union territory in the country who were taking the money, who were giving the money as a loan. बाकी सब जगह ग्रांट दिया जाता था, हम लोन देते थे. उसकी वजह ये थी सर कि लोन की वजह से हमारा एनपीए बिल्कुल नीचे था. लड़कियों के दिमाग में ये था कि ये पैसा मेरा नहीं है, मुझे वापस करना है. तो अब उसके बाद अब बैंकर जो है सर एनआरएलएम के दफ्तर ढूंढता है. नाउ 2023 में ये हो गया है दैट आर पीपल आर रिफ्यूजिंग कि मुझे लोन नहीं चाहिए, मैं पहले ये काम करूंगा फिर लोन करूंगा. सर लास्ट ईयर वी हैड क्रिएटेड 426 crores of credit in the last financial year, and this financial year government of India has increased our credit linkage to 600 crores. वो इस वजह से किया कि ताकि बिकॉज हमारा रिटर्न बहुत अच्छा है और जेएनके बैंक जो हमारा स्टेट का बैंक है वो अकेला सर हमारा 87% of our whatever we are linking the credits, he is very, very happy with the entire outcome, and financial inclusion is the strong point of JKRL.
It takes me to another question. How to improve the productivity and mobilization? Because, you can attract people, but till such time you do the hand-holding, capacity building, credit linkage, and then finally providing them the market and the opportunity. So A, in the mobilization, and B, increasing the productivity. How are you managing it?
The thing is कि जो आपने कहा capacity building, the institution building, capacity building के बगैर एक image नहीं होती है. And 2023 this scheme started in 2014. 2023 में सर हमारा इतना reputation follow करता है that now we are very comfortable in saying कि भाई हमें hand holding की जरूरत है और आप हमें दे दीजिए. Best hand holding is given to us. बट जो प्रोडक्टिविटी के साथ हैंड होल्डिंग करना बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड व्हाट वी डू इज वी हैव क्रिएटेड आवर ओन ITI सिस्टम, जो सर हर एक स्टेट में होता है, आई एम श्योर. हमने ITI जितनी भी है स्किल डेवलपमेंट डिपार्टमेंट की, हमने उनमें अपनी लड़कियों की ट्रेनिंग कराई. सर 5428 गर्ल्स गॉट ट्रेन्ड इन ITI. They have started their enterprises. Number second, RCT हमारे लिए बहुत strong है, जो कि RCT is Rural Skill Enterprise Training Centers. सर वो SBI के ट्रेनिंग सेंटर्स हैं, उसमें हम बहुत अच्छे से ट्रेनिंग कराते हैं. The third and very important is कि we have tried to create a pool of master trainers, क्योंकि मेरा मानना है सर कि अगर मेरे पास 6,67,000, right now I am 6,67,000 women are working with me, and my target is that I will cross 9,50,000 in this financial year, December 23. अगर मुझे वो अचीव करना है तो मेरी जो लड़की नई ज्वाइन करेगी उसको ये पता होना चाहिए कि पुरानी लड़कियां क्या कर रही हैं. So what I have an inward policy, क्योंकि अगर हम अभी भी हेलीकॉप्टर की तरह बाहर से ट्रेनर्स को लाते रहे तो सर 2014 से 2023 तक मैंने कोई काम नहीं किया है. इसका मतलब मैंने कोई काम नहीं किया. सो मेरे पास आज तक अपनी मास्टर ट्रेनर तैयार हुई होनी चाहिए. तो अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं सर, अपनी मास्टर ट्रेनर्स को हम TOT थेरेपी से द ट्रेनिंग ऑफ ट्रेनर्स को, मेरी लड़की सर मास्टर ट्रेनर है. राइट नाउ आई एम मर्जिंग विद सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट एंड आई एम डीलिंग विद IEC, which only my women are doing the Swachh Bharat Mission IEC in Jammu and Kashmir. No other agency is engaged. Similarly, हमारे पास एनिमल हस्बेंड्री के साथ सर हम लोग हर एक चीज में हमारी लड़की जो है, because this is now an inward policy that we have adopted, and our project is coming to close in 2024, and we will be this was a special project, sir, and we have spent around about 480 crores in these 4-5 years. So अभी तक अगले साल जब ये प्रोजेक्ट क्लोज होगा तो मेरी कोशिश है कि मेरी मास्टर ट्रेनर जो है वो इतनी सक्षम हुई होनी चाहिए कि बाकी डिपार्टमेंट्स उसको बुलाएं कि आप आके ट्रेनिंग दे दो. फॉर एग्जांपल मेंस्ट्रुअल हाइजीन मैनेजमेंट दैट वी आर डूइंग नाउ, पीपल आर कॉलिंग अस फॉर दैट. सो वी हैव टू बी इनवर्ड एंड वी हैव टू क्रिएट आवर ओन इकोसिस्टम, ताकि बाहर से हमें कोई आके ना समझाए. सर मुझे कैसे बाहर से आके कोई बंदा समझाएगा कि कश्मीर में क्या चीज चलती है, मैं खुद ही अपने आप को पूरा ही समझाती हूँ. So 2023 and 2024 we are not calling anybody from outside, except it is something which is very new and we don't know anything about it.
Solanki ji.
I'll now talk about the skills. We are not going to give our artisan their core competence skills. I mean, they are doing that their be it embroidery or handloom or any handicraft activity. But what we can give them skills in the field of soft skills. I mean, if they want to do an online marketing, then specific skill sets are required. Like they need to showcase their products in a particular manner, so they need a high definition pictures. So we tell them that what kind of picture you should take, that a 360-degree tour. Nowadays consumers are very demanding, so we need to prepare them for that consumer demands. So, and why consumers should buy why consumers should buy costlier product than what is available in the market. So we need to make them aware about why this product is special, why this product is unique, and that's where this online marketing, social media, all these things can help to our artisans. So I'll tell like remove those bottlenecks, whatever sectors like in the MSME, cottage industry or handloom sector. Remove those bottlenecks, whatever bottlenecks we find in particular sector. Like if we take case of Bandhani, so they are like in kind of, they need to dye that textile, so they create pollution. So they need a small common effluent treatment plant. That's where government should support them. That different craft, different handicraft, different handloom has a different requirement, and we need to understand that requirement and provide solution to their problems, make them aware about the opportunities, and create a proper value addition ecosystem for this sector so that more growth can happen, more jobs are created, and ultimately everybody, it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Let me, at this moment, move over to Mr. Mohanty. In fact, when we talk about 2047, it is said that in order to become middle to high income country, we need to improve labor productivity and labor mobilization. What is it that you would say from your own Odisha experience, you would have done it?
This is a very pertinent question. How to mobilize the labor into these water sector infrastructure projects or the water sector development works. So we have to integrate these agriculture, water resources, industry, small, micro, and medium, small industries mainly, to one platform so that we can mobilize these labors required for development of these water sector projects. So as regards to Odisha, since I have already spoken about our how we are mobilizing different things, I will emphasize that if at all we can have these assured water supply, or you can say irrigation, to having emphasis on geographic equity in water infra. Whatever water infra projects we are taking up, there must be geographic equity balance, so that labor mobilization, what you are telling, can be addressed significantly. And we have to focus on all these aspects. While saying so, I must say that we have to have forest issues, the rehabilitation resettlement issues, and LA issues mostly. So what we are doing again, we are having so many water users associations in Odisha, where while addressing these what labor issues also you are talking about, for that leads to fostering in community participation. So community participation also helps in mobilizing the labor force also. So what we understand, and these may be our views when saying these labor issues related to water sector improvement scheme or improvement program.
In fact, one very important and pertinent question here on ease of doing business. It still faces challenges on three counts, which is environment, healthcare, and inclusion overall. What needs to be done to overcome these, particularly the environment, healthcare, and inclusion? I think it's valid, Mohanty, even in your case. So let me start with you. So let's have a 1 minute quick answer to this before we wrap up the discussion. Mr. Mohanty. Mr. Mohanty.
So this is a very important question, since this healthcare and environment added together. So in this particular issue, I will say that water plays a critical role addressing all these things, providing clean, safe water for health, clean and safe water. So so what we have been doing in a large scale, we have been through these Jal Jeevan Mission or through Jal Shakti Abhijan. What we are doing, we are providing drink from tap mission, but for providing water, tap water for drinking purposes to individual households. So through this, again, the water bodies, the renovation of water bodies, that play a critical role for the health and sanitation and all required activities in and around the urban areas as well as the rural areas. So water bodies, the cleanliness and their environmental issues of handling the sanitation and the very sewage issues. So these are all taken. If we are taking up now all these things, we are also looking after aggressively these river pollution as well as the pollution. So I can say we are also taking up all these things to various schemes and various programs. And but these are the new subjects, and we are focusing on this environmental issues, clean and safe drinking water, all these things through different departments also.
Right. Induji, a quick one on this.
सर ये जो मैंने आपको अभी बताया, I want to just add one sentence in that. सर जो capacity building है उसमें समझना कि the present scenario all over the country, so we need to relate with that. This was one thing which I forgot to tell. Sir, जो ये तीन आपने indicators बताए, ये environment, healthcare and inclusion. In NRLM, we have a separate vertical of gender inclusion and social inclusion. So to increase productivity, it is very, very important for us to cater to the social and health needs of my women. I am kind of customizing the question towards my livelihood mission. So in this case, like I said, we are dealing with the overall development of the woman. In that case, we are looking for her health, because हमारे case में depression, anxiety, menstrual hygiene, and more importantly, the overall health of the women is very important to increase the productivity. हमारी आयुष्मान भारत कार्ड की जो सर percentage achievement है वो 93% है. So this is one thing which I try to capture, because if a woman is depressed, especially Jammu Kashmir के हिसाब से देखें तो there were turmoiling times when women were under depression and anxiety because of hundreds of reasons. So that is one thing which I'm catering to, and very, very closely we are monitoring that. जो environment की बात जब आपने कही, if I'm understanding it correctly, then the productivity increase if the entire, for example, I am, what I can understand is I have an entire farm livelihood thing, and we are also catering to the increase in the productivity with regard to training, as we have kind of lot of training partners we have included, like the National Dairy Development Board, we have the Sher-e Kashmir universities, we have Islamic universities, we have empaneled them to increase, to make my women increase the productivity. For example, sir, मैंने इस बार G20 जो summit कश्मीर में हुआ, JKRLM was one of the 3 departments. Only 3 departments were there to showcase, and JKRLM was one of them. In that, we catered to 3 major units to increase the productivity of my particular, in my particular field. So inclusion, health and productivity, if not catered to, we cannot increase the productivity. They are very, very significant factors, sir. Thank you.
Solanki ji, a quick one from your side.
Yeah, when we talk about ease of doing business, right? It's about that. So when we talk about ease of doing business, it's more mainly about compliance burden to the business community. You have rightly pointed out the environment. I mean, that should be a part of that. If you take a long-term view, then the environment issues are also play a very important role in ease of doing business. So that should be judicial balance between what business are saying, compliance burden and the environment. About inclusion, definitely that inclusion, be it a gender perspective or from marginalized section of society, inclusion should be part of very important part of ease of doing the business. And about healthcare, I think all kind of being India being a developing country, we still have a legacy of like an IMR, MMR issues, those should be like an, those are very, very important bottlenecks as far as doing business. If we, not directly, but it's indirectly linked with that. And then there are new age 21st century illness like in mental health and other issues. Those are also very important part of ease of doing business. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. This is all the time we have for this. Before we go, 3-4 quick pointers and takeaway from.
Minute, may I leave, sir? I have some important other meeting.
Sure. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
So, in fact, the panel suggests that whatever schemes are there, these are to be specially targeted with an objective and to serve the needs of the community and be sensitive to a geographic region as well as the needs of the people. And the programs need to be designed more from the demand side rather than what the organization, state, or the department thinks that they need. Next, integrated approach of markets and technology is important, and diversification and innovation is important to continue to increase productivity. The focus has to shift more on manufacturing rather than trade. That will help, entrepreneurship development as well as enterprise development, and create credit need. The capacity building and training is extremely important so that there is absorption capacity of the entrepreneurs. And focus should be more on loans rather than grant, and particularly the women entrepreneurs and the SHGs and stuff like that, wherein the payback has been extremely efficient with the minimum NPA. So the learning should be there that loans to be given, and then I covered based on the enterprise productivity as well as employability of the people. So well, thank you very much, Udayji, Solankiji, Induji, and Mr. Mohanty for joining us for this discussion.
Thank you for having us, sir. Thank you so much.